Welcome back to the Whiskey and Wisdom podcast, live at Azalea Station. I'm your host, Chris Kellum, with
Tyler Y'all.
And our special guest today is...
I am Courtney. I am the owner of Oasis Massage Therapy.
Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely.
I think you were the first masseuse. Is she? Second?
I think so.
Yeah, I think the first one.
We don't use that word anymore.
Oh, my
yeah?
God. Ooh.
Licensed massage therapist. Actually, masseuse became, and masseur became terms for illegal stuff.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yes, mainly like courtrooms and stuff like that, legal stuff. They use masseuse or masseur as explicit, illegal, non-licensed workers.
Interesting.
Yes,
I have
workers.
not been
And it's also
to that
used for
info.
human trafficking, too, because that is,
Really?
A job
unfortunately, that is the illegal spas that you see is usually 9 times 10 human trafficking.
I
Yeah.
saw a few years ago there was a huge crackdown in Wilmington.
Yeah, there was 3 or 4 got hit. One was in Midtown, I think right by Rackham. And I wasn't shocked on that one. But yeah, it's like a hydra. You take one down, 3 pop up. And it's hard to track it. You got to find the ringmaster, and usually you never do with that.
Yeah, because they said that they ran it back to like Raleigh, and then when they got to Raleigh, they were like, "Oh, it's actually in New York." And they're like, "Yeah, we don't. First of all, we don't have jurisdiction in New York,
Yeah.
and like, how in the hell are you going to find this person running around New York? Because they're probably not even there."
Exactly, and then a lot of times the lease that they rent from is not the true lease name. It's a lot of legal stuff that goes pretty deep. So that's why I tell people who are new to get massage, make sure you can verify their license number with the state.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I've the man of many jobs. I worked at a day spa for a few months, and I think that was like one of the last times I got a massage. And I'm 1, 2, 3. No, I got one after that. But I'm like, I miss those things. Like, I don't think people realize the amazingness that they can bring.
Oh yeah, because every massage therapist has their own specialty of what they they do,
Right.
and it's a matter of what CEs you want to get to education of what you want to kind of really embellish in. And I went to when I got out my own finally and got away from corporate. I went on my own to basically focus on trauma and grief.
Okay.
I got certified for that, and that opened my eyes to a lot of just stuff out there, different types of abuse, different types of trauma, different types of grief. And when we think of grief, we think of death. That's the main thing. But when I got educated on this and more in depth about grief, it's just like moving. Well, you leave what you knew behind, your hometown, which roads to take, what roads not to take.
Yeah,
right.
And then, so that's a grief. You leave a job where you're leaving coworkers that you may have really bonded with. Now you have to be the new guy again, wherever you're at. So grief is really huge, as well as trauma is huge. It's not just abuse or anything like that. It could be a botched medical surgery that now you have a trauma that, you're afraid to go see a doctor, which I've had many clients like that, where they are petrified of doctors. And I have ones where it's scar tissue buildup that is a physical trauma that can build up. And so it's fast. It's huge. And then after I got certified for that and got more comfortable working with that, learning the muscle structures with trauma, the nervous system, down to the fascia, which is basically covers the muscles. It's so deep, literally. And then I got certified for manual lymphatic drainage massage, which is your whole lymphatic system, which the most common one that we know is cancer victims. And they always say, did it spread to the lymphatic system? If it didn't, you're good. If it did, it's not good, because that's really head to toe system of your body that filters your body out, basically. Yeah. Then I got certified for oncology massage, which is cancer. And then I got certified for prenatal, postpartum, and newborn infant massage. So I'm a one-stop shop, basically.
That's crazy. So the main way I know about massage is just from mostly sports and athletics.
Yeah, sports massage.
So, yeah. And so that's kind of what I think of when I think of massage. So what is different about what you're doing versus what I'm typically getting done?
So sports
like
massage is something I would not touch with 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
I know what it entails. A lot of it's stretching.
Right.
Is a lot of stretching, a lot of deep work, because a lot of times you have bodybuilders, you have athletes, they get injured, so they need that deep tissue work where I don't do that.
Okay.
That would shorten my career in 10 years. But so what I do is, it is still therapeutic, the trauma. We'll say more therapeutic. We'll stick with the trauma grief is more therapeutic. I'm still going to get the knots out, everything, the tension out of you. But what I work on differently is how I hold a client's wrist, where most therapists will hold it kind of close-handed, just to kind of hold it. I hold it open so they can move it if they need to, so they feel freedom. Same thing with the ankles, where sometimes a modality you need to hold down an ankle in the way, to kind of stationary it, but I don't. I just, like, if it moves, basically your leg, and I let it kind of be freedom with that. Where I don't need to know your story. If you have trauma grief, there is never a have to. I'm not a therapist. They tell you how to feel. I just let you make sure you feel good. I don't do the head stuff. But if they choose to tell me their story of whatever, it can be trauma, grief, whatever it is, I can better know what areas of muscles are going to be tight or sensitive. So, for instance, if I have a client who has sexual abuse in her past or his past, 9 times out of 10, they're going to have a tight lower back. They're going to have tight hip muscles, even down to inner thighs, everything like that, because that's where they're holding, they're protecting themselves. For instance, for me, I'm a survivor of domestic violence. And so my story, I tell my clients one particular story, is that I was held down, and he pretty much was kneeing my inner elbow to the point where it got black and blue.
Wow.
And so now I hold my right arm. Even when I'm getting a massage, I feel it here, holding. I'm like, you gotta stop, man.
Wow.
But I tell clients that so they don't feel alone when they're pulling away from me.
Yeah.
I let them.
Right.
It comes down to their nervous system. Like I said, it depends on the abuse they have. So it's so not cookie cutter with them. And I think it's truly amazing that they even tell me the story. So like I said, sexual abuse victim, 9 out of 10, lower back, even like tight abdomen, hips, because that's where the abuse happened.
Right.
If it was physical abuse, it depends on where the physical abuse was. And then we go down to mental abuse. I mean, there's so many layers of it. So for each client, it's different with how I approach that massage with them.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of times, if they say, I need deeper pressure, they don't need deeper pressure. They have something else going on that I can't help. So I refer them out to a mental health therapist, which is right next to me.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, I
Makes
have
it easy,
resources.
yeah.
Every acupuncturist, chiropractor, mental health. I have a scar tissue therapist. I have everything that works within trauma and grief realm
Oh, wow.
that I can resource out to them.
that's
So
great.
it's really down to their story if they choose to tell me. If they don't tell me, sometimes I actually find out by their body. Their body does talk to you, and it depends on if a client allows me to know that. And I never push them. Never. Never.
There's actually not on that same realm, but kind of similar.
Yeah.
It's a sales book, actually, but it's similar when it comes to thinking about how people think and how it affects the body and how it comes out through your body. But it's called Every Body Talks.
Yeah.
And it's actually really good, but it's the same kind of concept where I can kind of like get the pieces together where it doesn't necessarily what you say, but how your body says it,
Exactly.
which is really interesting.
Yes, yeah. The body keeps a score because everybody knows that.
Exactly, yeah. And I'm sure you know it even more intimately, actually living it and doing it every single day.
I'm always learning. It's crazy. I had a client many years ago where I just got into trauma and grief, and there was, I can't explain it. It's so hard until you experience it, but it was her left hip on the outside. And I was just doing my modalities, doing the forearm thing, and it was just so hot, like literally to touch. And I'm like, it was infection, look around, it wasn't infection. And I just point blank asked her, I says, you were sexually abused, weren't you? She goes, how did you know? And I was like, your body just told me.
Wow.
And she was like, oh my God. And she got chills, and she just threw up her story. And that's what it's like, offer that safe place, because, well, HIPAA law is one of them. And I always tell clients I am so strict on HIPAA law that they love it, you know. And but besides that, it's still a safe place that I offer clients where a lot of times any victim, male or female, if they tell their story to anybody, friend, family, they go, oh, you'll be okay, or you'll get past it. It's like, you don't want to hear that. You just want someone to listen.
Right.
And that's what I do, is I listen. And if they ask for advice, I go as far as I can ethically with my license of what I can do. So it's really where clients learn themselves and learn how to heal in their way.
Yes.
You know, because I healed in my own way. I'm still healing. You know, every day it's a new learning process. It's only been about 5 years since I've been free of my abuser. So I'm still learning. There's still some bumps in the road, but we get there.
So just going back a little bit, how long have you been practicing? And then when did you open your
So I've been licensed with the state of NC for 10 years. I just celebrated 10 years this February.
Awesome. Congrats.
I was like, oh my God, it's been 10 years. So look, when you see your license when it first got issued, I go, oh my God. Like 10 years. It's 10 years of stories, 10 years of different people, 10 years of learning. And then I went out on my own June 4th of 2020, right in the crux of everything. And I was getting all the COVID because I was working full-time corporate here in Wilmington. So I was getting the Fed and the state money. And I was getting like $1,000 per week. And I was like, this is my opportunity because I want to go out my own, but I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
This was it. So I paid 6 months ahead in rent, 6 months ahead in house rent. I paid everything outright where I started a business with no debt, not 1 ounce of debt.
That's fantastic.
It was, never had that opportunity ever again. I knew I wouldn't. So I was like, I'm going to take on it.
Yeah.
And so many people were taking that money and using it, like, obviously people used it because they needed it to like survive, and then some people were just using it to like blow through and just do stupid stuff. Yeah. But I love to hear that you actually took that as an opportunity to grow yourself and make a change out of a bad situation.
Absolutely. And then my goal was to get fired from clients love that story.
Yeah.
I was like, now I had to get fired, because if I get fired, then I can keep collecting the COVID money while I'm still dead in the water with hardly any clients.
Exactly.
And so that's what I did. 2 months later, I got fired, and I walked out there skipping and happy. Like, I just got fired.
I was like, yes.
I was like, this is great. I'm excited. I hated that place. But, you know, it was, I had to get fired. So I would say that was July or August of 2020. And then the following year, March, I made just to get off the COVID money. I just actually stopped collecting it. I didn't tell them. I just stopped. I was like, done. This is it. This is my opportunity to go out on my own. And then that summer of 21 took another dip. And oh, my God. But then it went straight, went straight up, because I was a little bit different with how I approached massage therapy during that iffy time. I didn't make my clients wear a mask. It was up to them. It was their choice of what they wanted to do. And so many massage therapists, I can only speak for locally, I've heard horror stories, trauma. I could not believe the stories I heard of how mean some other massage therapists were to these clients. And I'm like, no, you're coming here to get helped. Your choice. And that's what got me busy was simply just that. So, but I'm booked out for months now.
That's fantastic.
Fantastic. Some clients hate it, but we eventually get them in the routine.
I'm sure the clients that hate it are the ones that aren't booking ahead and being proactive, though.
You know what? And that's okay. I tell them, and that's what I say. That's the part of how you handle it. Like, it's okay. I got a cancellation list. We'll pop you on it. And I reach out to them when I get a cancellation. So it's never to make a client ever feel bad. Life happens. I have a life too. There are times I can't see my massage therapist for months on end. So I tell them, it's all right, we'll get you in.
So where are you based? Like, you have your own facility. Where is that located?
So I am located downtown Wilmington on Chestnut Street, between 4th and 5th Street. Chestnut between 4th and 5th Street. I'm like a real quiet part of Wilmington. It's 411 Chestnut Street. Beautiful blue historical home. There's other offices in there, but I love it. I have, I think, one of the largest rooms in there besides 2 others, and it's a crazy deal that I got with this landlord.
Good. I love that opportunity, though. It's like, I was talking like a little while ago. I'm like, I wish that more, like, Wilmington is growing, but they're not putting up Wilmington style houses. And I'm like, if you could put a Wilmington house, like an old school antebellum, like that old school stuff that's downtown, and then just make it for businesses. Like, hey, this house, it's this style, but guess what? There's 5 businesses in here. Or there's 2 or 3 families living in here. That I would love if they would do that, like up and down, kind of spreading it out. But no, we just keep getting these monotone, 4-story tall buildings, and I'm like, I don't want to see another one. I miss. You can't compare the
historical homes to the. Oh my God! The one I'm in was built in pre-Civil War. I actually found the history of it. It was pre-Civil War. It still has the aluminum siding on it from pre-Civil War.
Gosh.
This thing has survived how many hurricanes? And some were Category 5, and it's still standing. I'm like, okay, so yeah, I'm going to have to be in this office because obviously it can withstand hurricanes. So.
Yeah, I'm like, this isn't going anywhere. I'll be here for a while.
Yeah, it was, I was like 18-something it was built, and I'm like, oh my God, like, it's like, holy crap.
No, that's amazing. That.
Yeah.
I've asked a bunch. Your turn.
Yeah. So what made you want to get into massage therapy to begin with?
So that's a funny story. Nothing. That's what my clients love me. I'm really odd. I was in the mall one day, here in Independence Mall, and there was a school there. It's called the College of Wilmington.
Right.
And I went in. They had at that time only 3 programs. I was bored. I had to find something to do with my life. I was early 20s. I just got back from Staten Island, and I'm like, I gotta find something to do with my life. And so I just walked in, and I says, "What programs you got?" They said, "We got medical code and billing." I says,
Nope.
"No."
Yeah.
This is what we got cosmetology. I was like, "No, I'm gonna fry someone's hair off." And I said, "Well, we got massage therapy." I was like, "Well, all right, that's pretty safe."
Yeah.
And that's it. I signed up. And I ended up just falling in love with the information of it. My teacher was, I think, one of the most amazing teachers I ever had in my life. Because you only had this one teacher. That was it. There wasn't public school. It was just one teacher. And she was a massage therapist, I think, 20, 30 years. And she was like my inspiration because she used to run a spa. And she was booked out 3 to 4 months. And she said, "You will have no life if you get busy." And I'm seeing that now 10 years later.
Right.
I have to plan my life like a year ahead.
You're
But I
like-
love it, though.
You're like, hey, I'm taking a vacation in June of 25.
I'm literally
Just so you
planning that
guys
right
know.
now. I
Okay.
am. I'm planning on next year. I'm planning a vacation in around May. And then I'm like, all right, now every quarter I take a week off. That's just what I have to do
Yes.
Good,
is self-care. And that's what I teach my clients. Self-care. Because if you hit burnout, you can't help anybody.
Yeah.
And I feel myself hit burnout times, and I'm like, I have to chill. And so I'll turn my phone off, and I will just get back to everybody later when I can. So the biggest thing is I teach my clients self-care, boundaries. Love yourself, even though other people may have not loved you. That's okay. That's their problem.
Right.
Love yourself, because you only can love yourself the way you can.
Love that you practice what you preach too, because like how
Absolutely.
many people tell you all the time, like, "Oh yeah, you need to take a day off," and it's like, when's the last time you took a day off?
Exactly.
Like,
And not that I want to, because I want to help my clients, but
Right.
I'm just getting off a week vacation where I did absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And my clients will ask me, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Nothing."
Yeah.
And they die laughing, because I made them laugh. Like, that thing is like, I love my fellow massage therapists, but I'm seeing so many cookie cutters where they're very just monotone and just, they don't laugh. And I'm like, dude, we're about to cut up in this session. Like, I have clients that curse like sailors, and they go, I could never do that with a massage therapist. Like, so do I.
What your uncle did in the trade towers?
I cannot remember what he did. It wasn't anything. Matter of fact, I think he worked for AT&T.
Oh, okay.
Because it was originally was Bell.
Yeah.
And then they converted to AT&T. My grandfather worked for Bell.
Oh, no way.
He worked for AT&T, so they would joke back in the 70s and 80s that they were a competition for each other. So I
Right.
think it was AT&T he worked for at that time. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So my senior advisor that I work with, he actually worked on the 80th floor of the towers.
Wow.
And he moved here July of 01 as well.
No way.
Yeah. So it was crazy.
It's
Luckily,
such a small world.
yeah. So that's why I asked. I was like, how crazy would that be?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's insane. His group of people all got out, luckily. So like he doesn't really know many people that were like tragically affected by it in that way. But yeah, he knew quite a few people that were in there. So
Yeah.
it was crazy, like hearing the stories that come out every once in a while.
Oh, yeah. I could get into the stories of 9/11,
I can,
but
yeah.
that's
That's a whole
Podcast for a
other,
different
yeah.
Different
I was
podcast.
gonna say, that's a way different podcast.
it gives me chills when I still think about it.
Mm-hmm.
It does, so. But I've had some clients who helped pick up the
yeah.
rubble.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you meet so many people, especially when you work again in the realm of trauma and grief. It opens up the door to get really anybody in your door who are ready to heal from something. So, yeah, you and I can like, oh, I lived in PA, this, that, and
Right.
so. I used to tell my clients, like, me and my father would go over the Verrazano Bridge, and you would see the Twin Towers in the back.
Yeah.
And I go, I miss that. I have memories of the towers with my
Same,
dad. Look
yeah.
up like this. Just like they were huge. My mom remembers them being built in the 70s.
Oh,
she
wow.
was there when they were being built.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So yeah, a lot of history in my
That's
family
neat.
with that stuff.
So with that being said, too, then what made you want to stay down here after you moved down here already?
Money.
Yeah.
I always said, why don't you go back where you came from? If you're paying for it, sure, I'll
Right,
go.
yeah.
Please. I would love to be
Please.
back to get a good bagel.
Yeah, right?
That was like, so we went a few years ago because my friends were getting engaged, and they were like, it was a surprise, but really, why are you inviting your best friends on a group trip? Like, let's be real. But that was like the first thing we did was we landed, we ordered pizza. I was really salty because I had to get it delivered because we had like a time crunch. I was like, this isn't the best pizza because it was delivered. It got kind of cold. And
You got to get that fresh New York.
yeah, I'm like, you have to get
Crunches
it
in your
right. Oh my
hand.
God.
You got the grease coming down. Oh.
But we did make sure to get bagels. Like, we were there for like 4 days, and we got bagels 2 days. And I was, maybe 3. And I was like, yeah, it was, I don't know the best bagels, but I will say it was some of my favorite.
The
And it
crunchy on
was-
top with little air bubbles on top.
Yeah.
Ooh, you get that smear of butter on there. Oh.
See, the one thing I should have done is just gone classic and been like, oh, let me get a, like, just plain bagel with, like whatever every quote unquote like the most generic order is. I'm like, I should have just done that at least once.
Have you been to Salida yet?
No.
That's probably the closest thing in Wilmington that I've had to like a legitimate like New York bagel.
I would say Rounds Bagels on Kerr Avenue.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Haven't been
man.
yet.
I will go there because I live like 5 minutes from there. And I'll go there. I'll get me a buttered bagel, toasted,
Yep.
extra butter on it. I'll get a donut. I'll get a coffee. And I'm like, man, I miss this. Even Donut Inn, their bagels, they're pretty good. Like they're crunchy on top.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So those two places
Are good.
are also really good. Yeah.
Nice. I don't, like, I used to get bagels all the time because when I was younger, I hung out with a girl and her dad was from Long Island. Actually, I think both her parents were. And so where they live, they're like, hey, if you can get a bagel, this is the place to go. And I'm like, well, I guess because you're probably 30 years older than me, you know that these bagels are decent. And then, like, we stopped hanging out, so, like, I didn't get bagels for a while. And now I'm kind of, and you just can't,
It's carbs,
like, once
man.
you have, like, a good bagel,
You can't go back.
You can't just go to the grocery store and be like, oh, let's get these. Like, it just tastes so different.
Oh, God, yeah.
All right, well, we got Chris on food. It's been a while since he had a food tangent on the podcast.
We'll move back.
It's okay.
We'll move away from the bagels and the trauma that has caused me, and,
And actually-
ask you, and ask you, why did you choose to switch, like, what your focus was, like, when you were leaving?
Well,
the
I was with the
corporate?
corporate. It was just a generic place. So I really didn't want to specialize anything there because I'm going to be honest, when you work at this corporate place, it just drained you. You had
Yep.
5 minutes in between clients to dress the table, kind of zen out a little bit, and then boom,
Do
now
the
you got to
next
read
one.
notes for the next one. You have really 5 minutes in between.
Wow.
And so a lot of therapists did, or even estheticians did not give their all. So you really didn't care if you specialize in anything. But
right.
when you're on your own for any career,
Yeah.
then you care.
You need to specialize,
And
yeah.
honestly, what got me into the trauma and grief part of it was me being a survivor of domestic violence. I'm like, I'm not the only one who is feeling these CPTSD moments where I'm having anxiety out of nowhere,
Right.
or if I see a commercial about it, I get like hot flashes, and I'm like, this is not normal. And I research on my own, and I go, okay, I'm not the only one. We obviously have a domestic violence shelter because there's many women who go through this, even men.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I gotta help them on a different level, physically and spiritually, and help them with this. And then I gotta find resources that I can give to them so they can continue. Because that's part of trauma and grief to me. It's not just the physical aspect; it's also here,
Right.
self-care, learning yourself, because your brain does change after any type of abuse.
Yep.
It actually shrinks a little bit, and it changes.
Oh, wow.
And that made me angry because now I'm like, this guy just put permanent damage on me, and now
Yeah.
I have to rewire my brain to not be in survival mode all the time. And so I'm like, I got pissed off. I really got pissed off. How else to put it? And then I says, I got to help other people. And I actually made a post about a week ago to my clients after doing this for 4 years on my own. And I just thanked all of them. And I still do to this day thank them because their healing, them wanting to do better and be better, makes me want to be better, and it heals me. And it's just like they cry on my table, or they'll end up laughing on my table or a situation.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, look at you, man. Like,
Yep.
God, if you can do it, I can. And, you know, I provide a safe place, but I have to help myself, and my clients every day literally help me, because I think my story is bad. I'll meet one that makes my head like just spin, and I'll just like get told stories that you wouldn't think are real.
Yeah.
And it's you almost want to throw up on some of them. And so for them to have someone who will listen to that story is a
Right.
big deal. And so I do that. And, you know, like I said, it's all about self-care and however it is. I have clients, so how do I do self-care? Can't answer that question.
Right.
That sounds, as long as it ain't illegal. I was like, I had to say that one, as long as it's not illegal or a substance abuse,
Right.
you know, find it. For me, I read. I will go home and sit on my couch in silence. You cannot make this up.
Same.
I'll video game to just get my mind off of it.
Yeah.
I Peloton bike like crazy if I have
nice.
to. I do that. Whatever helps you in a positive way.
Right.
Yes.
I always have to put that asterisk
The
in there.
positive way.
Please don't go on a bender.
Right.
Please.
Unless it's like St. Patty's Day. Okay, I'm going
Right.
to be with you probably.
So, question: what games do you play?
Oh, God. So back in the day when Xbox came out,
Yes.
Halo came out.
Oh, yeah.
Man, did that
Staple.
change the way gaming forever. I was Nintendo, Super Nintendo, side-scroll gamer, and then here comes Master Chief, and I go,
Oh.
what? And then I just, at 12 years old, I fell in love with the story. I'm like, it's a 12-year-old girl falling in love with, like, the storyline.
Yeah.
And how Cortana was literally in your head the whole game.
Yeah.
And it took me years to realize she was in your head the whole time, literally. And so Halo was the first one, and then I got into God of War, the whole series. That's why I got a PS4 and a PS5, because just that game. That's why I got a new Xbox, because of Halo, which we won't get into 343 and what they did to Halo, but we'll leave it at that. So Destiny is a big one, which Bungie made Halo.
Yes.
And if you are a true gamer, you will see a ton of Halo references in Bungie.
In Bungie's,
Oh my
all their
God.
work
And I go,
is a
that's Halo.
lot.
That's Halo. And some of the younger players go, what? And I go,
So sad.
even the music, I'm like, that's Halo.
I never got to play Halo, so like growing up, we were always a system behind until I made enough money to buy what I wanted. So like, I didn't get the Xbox when it came out. I was still playing like a PlayStation, and I was like, oh
Man, no shame in that.
I was like, I love
Pop
my
up
PlayStation.
the lid and pop it down
Yeah,
like
I'm like,
Crash
right.
Bandicoot.
Oh my gosh,
Spyro?
Crash Bandicoot was
So
the game.
best.
I had to show my wife, like most kids are like, I'm so great at like Super Mario, like Mario Kart.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm great at
the
it.
N64 that would cause you to have enemies.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then I look at my wife and I'm like, no, I'm great at Crash Team Racing. So if
I have the
Forgot
disc.
about that.
I do too. I bought it and then I went and it came back, like they re-released it on Xbox and I'm
Did
like,
they?
and I bought it and my wife was like real salty because she's like, I'm good at games and she's playing it. She's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, this is just muscle memory.
It
It's
is.
like when
It really
those
is.
videos you see like the dad sit down with the
Oh,
kid
yeah.
and the kid's like, oh dad, look, I'm beating you. And the dad just leans forward and he's like, let's go. And
The
you're like,
moment
"Yo."
that lean forward happens, because I do that, and my boyfriend will see it, and I'm like, here we go. And I start cursing. I F this, F that. He goes, what are you doing? I said, character's not moving, man.
It's like, I'm doing this. It should be going there. I don't know why we can't take this base. Like, come on.
Well, it's even worse when it's a live game like Destiny's Live,
Yes.
and you got other people, and they're annoying you. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I need a massage.
I played Destiny. I played Destiny 2 up until like a point, and like I just worked too much to go back, and like there was so much content that I wanted to do, but unless you had a group, you couldn't go anywhere. And I'm
I
like,
soloed it. I was a solo
I was like,
player,
I
except for raids, but yeah, I
yeah,
soloed
I'm
it.
like, I couldn't do a raid by myself because
There was one guy who did.
Yeah.
I forgot he made history.
I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
ain't no way. And for those who want to know, if you don't play video games, raids typically require anywhere from like 3 to like 15 people to figure it out.
Wow.
And for someone to do it by themselves, one, took a lot of time and like perfectly lining up where
Yep.
to get shot. So I applaud him.
Yeah, I forget. It was a year. I think it was on Destiny 1, I think. And I think it was the Crota raid that he one-manned it. He one-manned it. And I'm like, man, you're God.
And then they have to hot fix him. Like, no, this isn't happening.
All the patches.
Yeah.
I can't, so Bungie's still the same in some ways.
Sorry, we went down. It wasn't food this time.
No, I was like, you got Chris on the second love of video games right behind food.
See, I tend to like stay, but if you mention it, I'm like, I'm gonna ask, because like you said, that is something that like a lot of people nowadays will say, like, this is what I do to relax. Is like, let's go play video games. How is playing a video game with 12, 13-year-olds online relaxing? It's because it brings you back to a time when it's like,
yes,
I didn't have any worries. I was just yelling at someone else just because it was fun.
That is something that during COVID, when like everything else felt out of control, that I did get back into gaming again.
Yes.
A lot of people did.
Yeah.
A lot of people did. And you had the scalpers for Xbox, which I unfortunately
Oh my
am
gosh.
friends with the scalper on my Facebook now.
Oh, yeah.
He came down the price a little bit for me, but we actually became Facebook friends.
That's so funny.
Gosh. Like, I just need it. I really
Right.
need this.
The PlayStation I got because one of my friends worked for Target. And she
nice.
texted me that day. She goes, we just got a supply in. Go on the website. And I kept refreshing. I was in the tub, refreshing, and bam, boom, bought it.
That's awesome.
And she personally put it in the thing for me. I ran to Target. But yeah, the Xbox, I paid, I think, $150 overpriced. I'm like, don't care, dude.
wow.
Don't
Yeah.
care.
You gotta do what you gotta do in this.
Exactly.
Yeah, when COVID hit, I moved. That was also when they relaunched World of Warcraft Vanilla, and I played that, which stressed my wife out because she was still working during COVID. And so I'm down there playing video games, and she's like, what are you doing? Don't ask. I'm trying to beat this level. I don't know why I can't do what I'm supposed to do. It was such a great time.
So on the same note of like kind of releasing and self-care and stuff, is there something that you notice that your clients do more than not that kind of helps them?
Well, one is they see me. That is one. And that is a big one. There are times where I'll get a text from a client saying, hey, I know you're booked. Did you get possibly any openings that you haven't reached out yet to people? I really need to see you. Mm-hmm. And there are times that happens where if I get one that's like canceled 2 weeks ahead, I'm like, I don't bother till a couple of days ahead to reach out to people. And I says, I actually just got one about a week. In a week, I says, you want? And they're like, yeah. They have that urge to come in where they just need someone to make them laugh, or need just a safe place to cry, or where they can just knock out and sleep.
Right.
That's another thing, is a lot of clients have childhood trauma. And so that's why I start my clients face up, so they can see me walk through the door. And I explain this all to clients, is that you can hear the noise I make, like my cream bottle opening, my stool, when I sit down, I can make some noises. The floor is all wood, so it's going to creak.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So they can actually want to keep their eyes open and see what noises I make. Once they're face down, the brain won't go into survival mode because now it knows what that noise is. It's a lot of psychology behind of what I do.
Yeah.
And so they come and see me as the biggest self-care part. Right. And then the second one would be if they want to get the hair done, or a lot of them will, because I am downtown, they'll actually go for a walk afterwards. And they'll get coffee or whatever, water. And they say it's just one of the best things is I am downtown. I'm in the quiet part.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they can just go for a walk afterwards, because 4th Street has free 2-hour parking. 5th Street is completely free all day. So I'm real close to those two free things. And they have them go for a walk downtown, or I have some clients come in from like Myrtle Beach.
Oh, wow.
And they'll make a whole day affair out of it, like a whole self-care day. But as far as what they do outside of seeing me, a lot of them, gosh, let me think. A lot of them will read books. A lot of them will, and I tell them, like, if you're reading a book and it is about trauma and you start to feel your chest get tight, put it down, because now you're not relaxing, you're reliving. I says, give it a moment, get back to it, because if we go too deep, we go down that rabbit hole, and then we're going to have flashbacks coming up.
Right.
So it depends on the client, really, of what they do, but some just go home, watch TV, they'll go home, take a nap. Because they just feel relaxed. So it's really up to the client. So it's a question I can't really answer, because so many of them do so many different things to help relax. It just depends on where you want to pinpoint it.
I never thought about like the process that goes into getting a massage, and that like the last few that I got, you're right. I started, hey, roll over. Hey, meet them, say, hey, you roll over, and I never thought about like, hey, you're not seeing what's going on.
You're not. You're literally hearing and feeling as the client. And you have to trust that person to respect your body. And with the trauma and or grief, 9 out of 10, their body was not respected in any type of form.
Right.
And so I teach them how to set those boundaries of self-respect. I tell them, we ever get to a body part that you are not, I don't care if it's your foot, I don't care if it's your knee, I don't care if it's your elbow, if it's your pec muscles, whatever it is, you tell me right away, and the hands will be off that area. Right away. And that has happened. And bam, right away. And I redraped it instantly. And they said, oh, my God, thank you. And I says, it's that simple.
Right.
Yeah.
And so a lot of them were never learned how to put boundaries in, or the boundaries were pushed, like abuse, like I went through, where the boundaries were not respected. And so I teach them how to set boundaries. I start with me. I'm very easy to set boundaries with.
right.
Very simple. You know, it's a professional thing, you know. Set boundaries with me. Say, yeah, let's not work on this today. I'm not comfortable with it. And I'll have to ask, is it a medical reason or is it just a personal? So I can make sure it's not like an infection or something like that. I'm not going to hurt them more. And they'll tell me personal, or it could be just that they had something done.
Right.
But yeah, it's that. It's, like I said, it's really respecting their body, because unfortunately some massage therapists don't. And I have never been in a session where I was hurt by a massage therapist, but you can just tell some are there for the money.
Sure,
And then some are there to really help people.
Yeah.
And I have been told that it can tell that I'm there to help people, and that I have loving hands.
Nice.
You can just tell by talking to you now too that you like thoroughly love what you do and helping the people. Like you can
I
just
am
like
everything.
it comes out. Yeah.
I tell clients, I make them laugh. Like, I'm the massage therapist, I'm the accountant, I'm the secretary, I'm the appointment maker, I'm the social media presence. So when I'm home, I'm still working.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So we, like, because of our podcast, we know a lot of small business owners, entrepreneurs, and understand, like, I don't think people realize how much work that goes into maintaining a business and still bringing a positive attitude to the daily work.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I tell my clients, you know, there are days that I don't want to get out of bed because just the depression hits me that bad. And I tell them, I get up because they need me more on that day, because they're counting on me, because, again, they may have had someone who they could not count on for nothing.
Right.
And I know that feeling all too well. And to not be able to count on a partner to keep you safe or anything like that. And I've been through that feeling. So I give them that feeling of, unless I'm sick, then I legally have to cancel the appointment. But other than that, or if I get injured, which just never happens, knock on wood. But other than that, I'm there 100%. I'm there. I love what I do. I have clients that make me laugh, like to the point I'm crying. Like I have one, oh my God, he's so funny. And he's straight up from Germany. I love him. He is he's got the accent and everything. And what made us connect on a level was the fact that my grandma, my mom's mom, was in Germany in World War II.
Oh wow.
She was, I think, 8 years old when the bomb started. And it did not stop until she was about 19, once the Americans fully took over and it was done. So I met my grandfather. Yeah. And so he goes, nuh-uh. I was like, yeah, so we could talk about Germany, because I know about it from her. And so we were able to connect. So I try to find ways to connect with that client. So they go, oh, I'm really comfortable with you.
Right.
And I actually have in my room, it's a certificate of my grandma, who was an esthetician over in Germany, and it's in all full German. And so he was able to read it back to me word for word. So it's so cool. So he made me German potato salad. I was so excited for that, because it's the vinegar. Oh, man. I haven't had that in years.
It's definitely a different taste.
Oh, man, I gobbled it down.
Though, yeah.
And he's like, I'll make you German blackout cake. And that was my grandma's favorite cake, too. Nice. I'm like, are you related?
I haven't had that in years.
I don't think I've had the blackout cake.
Really?
Oh, man.
I've had the
when I lived in PA,
salad,
it's easy to find up there.
Oh, God, yeah. All the bakeries in New York and PA have it all. Yeah.
Yes. We're nearing the end of our time together.
Wow.
Unfortunately.
I know, it goes
See,
by
it's
fast.
just like a great massage. Like, the
Absolutely.
time goes by so quickly.
Oh, there are some that, like, it's like 3 over.
Yeah.
God, it's 60 went quick. And there's some where it drags. I'm like, what am I doing wrong?
We've experienced both of those.
Yes. So my question for you is, what does success look like for you?
Oh, man. So if we're going to pull money out of it, we're going to...
Yeah,
money never existed. Success, for me, is when I get a text message randomly from a client and they say to me, Courtney, I want to thank you for helping me in my healing journey. You have made me feel so much better as a person. I've gotten multiple texts with that, and I'm like, this is it right here.
Awesome.
This is my success. You know, I can have anything I want, you know, I can, you know, if I want to go buy something, I want this, but it's really the fact that another human being walked away feeling almost cured.
Yeah.
Because of just something so simple I did by listening. And I have to say, with COVID, a lot of people stopped listening because it became so sheltered. And I
True.
says, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to have a good time. And so to get those texts where they will just, I had one that was like this long of a text. And it was just everything she thanked me for. And it's still regular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I actually have to take a moment to respond to that because I'm like, I'm still amazed by it.
Right.
You know, I do it every day, but that to me is success, is when another human being walked away feeling cured and happy and in a healing process. That trauma was inflicted on them that could have been so horrible by a parent, partner, whatever it can be, that the fact that they have the confidence to self-heal on their own because they chose to reach out to me. I didn't reach out to them.
Right.
And I tell them that was the first step in your healing, was the fact that you reached out to me. You took that huge step to reach out to me and tell your story.
Yes.
That is success to me. For my career, success for me. I feel successful after that.
That's
I
awesome.
do.
Like,
After looking forward, we're going to look back real quick. If you were to tell your younger self one thing, what would it be?
Can I curse on here?
Absolutely.
Stop
It's a
fucking up.
drinking.
Stop fucking up. Get it together.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, but I think me going into that school at 20, 21, 22, I think I did it correct. I mean, there are so many things that we could correct in our life, like, oh, don't date him. Oh, don't date him. Don't do that. Don't drink that drink. You can get drunk. But honestly, there's nothing I probably would really change. It's a few tweaks, but honestly, walking into that school that day many, many years ago to sit here,
yeah.
I'm still amazed by it.
That's
I'm
awesome.
very grateful. Every day I walk into my office and I go, this is mine.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is mine. Like, mine. So that's success to me is so many different ones. But, yeah, clients crying and happy, yeah, 100%
I
success.
love that.
Probably didn't get too much in the corporate area. Not really.
Not really, no.
For those who would like to try and take that first step, where can they find you or
Facebook,
like reach out?
Instagram, if they want to reach out on social media.
Yeah.
I'm on Google, which is basic Google. They can read reviews there, this and that. They want to just get kind of adjusted where I'm at. But Facebook or Instagram is under Oasis Massage Therapy. It has
Okay.
a blue symbol with a sea turtle on because my whole theme is ocean in my room. I tell
Nice.
clients, you get to go to the ocean without having the sand in your ass.
That's perfect. That's what I love.
That is the best thing ever, is going without the sand.
Yeah.
I got sea turtles everywhere, ocean decor, without having to leave with the sand.
Nice. I love it.
My wife always asks, like, why are you always so hesitant to go to the beach? I'm like, I hate the sand. It's like,
It doesn't come off right
I was going
away.
to say, and it sticks to you forever.
It's hot, man.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
bored. My boyfriend's like, why don't we go to the beach? I'm like, what am I going to do?
Right.
Stare at the ocean for 2 hours? I'm bored.
Right.
See, if we go early enough, I'll go and I'll like listen to the ocean before it like gets real loud, and I'll read a book, and I'm like, this is just two calming things. But if we're like, hey, we're going for hours, I'm like, first off, I don't like sunblock.
I hate how it feels. And again, that goes in the lymphatic system that I work
Exactly.
on.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I hate putting it on, so then I can't stay as long.
It just feels gross in your skin.
And people are like, oh, just read. I was like, no, I don't. I would much rather, like, I have family friends who have a pool, and I'm like, I will go sit here in the afternoon when I know the UV rays are lower, and I can go hide in the shade and just enjoy it.
And no shibunis.
I have a shibumi.
I'm so sorry.
Yes.
You're one of those that flaps the whole day, huh?
So I am also, despite not having kids, I'm definitely the dad when it comes to going to the beach. I'm like, I am very organized. Oh,
That's
no.
me. I have
no.
no kids, but I'm like,
we have a shibumi and we have chairs and a cooler. So like the chairs have your towel in it and your book, and the cooler has the food, and you have the shibumi. If the shibumi's not blowing, I'm the one that has to get up and like, all right, theirs is working. How do I turn the angle just right? It was, at least our beach has wind though. Like we went to Myrtle Beach.
Horry County got banned them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Horry County banned them because the way their beach is set up,
Yeah.
the lifeguards couldn't see over
Yeah.
them. So I understood that, but
Yeah.
man, you see Rice Beach sometimes, like a
gonna
picture,
say,
it's a
just
sea of
all
shaboonies.
Yes. Yeah. Horry County makes sense though. Like
It's Horry
their
County,
beach
let's
is
be honest.
so.
That's what I say.
I was like, they do what they want.
It's Myrtle Beach, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ain't
We've
nothing
been there.
about it.
And that's where we try to put ours up, and they're like, no, you can't.
Yep.
And if you have a tent, you have to be on the back side of the beach.
Right,
Like,
where the lifeguards aren't blocked.
Yeah.
That didn't make sense.
and I'm
though.
like, that does
Right.
make sense. But if I want to come to the beach for more than like an hour, that means I got to run across like 30 yards of just burning hot sand, which leads back to why we would much rather go to your studio
Absolutely.
and enjoy the beach without getting sand in your butt.
Absolutely.
See, I always bring it back.
You always do.
Bring it back.
Yes. No, thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely.
It was a blast.
I
I
had a
learned
good
a
time.
lot. So thank you guys for watching, listening. Shout out Azalea Station. And for those who showed up for the live episode, thank you. Nice to see you again. And, come grab a drink, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Cheers.
Peace.